Could you hear me?
I can hear you, and I will definitely hear you in a hot second.
How about now?
All right.
Ooh, got you on loud there, kid. How are you?
Good, good, good. It was helpful if I hit join meeting.
Well, would it?
Mm. Got a point, got a point.
Who would it help? So, listen, we could be live right now.
Oh, thank God. I hope so,
So,
because this is.
do you know how to get us rocking and rolling on social
Oh,
media?
oh, absolutely. I'm definitely. Oh, we are, and we're ready to go. So listen, why don't you go ahead and start it off while I get us all shared away there, my good friend.
Okay, great. Well, good evening, everybody. This is No Rhyme, No Reason. Jeff Bosey and Rich Rada, our first show. Guaranteed to be a little bit of a dumpster fire. Technology wise, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I
Oh,
set this up.
I will say a definite yes because all we see right now is the top of your head.
Really? I could see me. I could see all of me.
Well, yeah, on your screen, but
Where you looking?
on the live. Oh, here we go. Okay, there you go. Okay, it's getting a little bit better, but now we're like they only see the top of our heads right now.
Really?
Yeah, really.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. It's kind of
How
weird.
about now?
I won't know for a few seconds,
All right.
but you go ahead, just talk.
Well, I would like to share our show. So how does one do that? You're the guy.
Well, I'm going to be sharing like a bandit right now, so
Oh yeah,
if you
I see what you mean. All I see is the top of our head, right?
yeah, it's kind of funky.
Interesting. All right. Well, hey. All right. I'm going to share it to. I guess I'm just going to. How do you share it to everybody?
There's share buttons right down near the bottom there. But listen, what I will do is, if you guys do wind up liking the show, and you kind of enjoy it somewhat a little bit, and that, or if you hate somebody that much, share it to all your friends once again. Hit the like button, hit the love button, just hit the buttons away. Because me and Rich, we really need to know what the hell's going on because he knows that I know nothing of what's going on. So that's why I lead to him for any sort of knowledge.
I'm still trying to find out why we only have tops of our heads, but I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of jokes involved in
Oh, well, you know. Assume the position.
that.
Assume the position.
Well, on the screen, it's funny because on the computer we look like full people. Woo!
Hey, hey, hey.
But whatever. So how you doing, Bose?
I am doing great. Unfortunately, I wish I can, feel the sympathy of other people who are not essential workers because I am myself an essential worker. I don't mean to brag, but I'm going out there every day. I'm not risking my life like, all the wonderful nurses and police and firefighters and so on and so forth. But still, I'm going out there. I'm taking a risk every day. And that's why I'm dressed in my, I'm a poor person blues,
Is
so
that
to
what?
speak.
That's what you're calling that?
Yes, that's what I'm calling it.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, listen, we appreciate you being an essential worker. I'm not sure exactly if you're actually working, but listen, whatever gets you out of the house, because I know most people would kill to not be trapped in their living room, den, or bathroom for 21 hours. So, where are you now?
Right now, I am located in what's known as my bunker, where I try to stay away from people that I care about, like family, in Bayshore somewhere, an undisclosed location. If I were to tell these locations to you, everyone would want to be knocking at the door and asking for autographs, and that gets kind of annoying.
Really? Done a lot of autographs in your day?
Yeah, traffic tickets,
Yeah, yeah.
restraining orders.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So let's do this. I've been dying to ask you. Now I get to see your handsome face and pretty much my right ear occasionally on the screen. Um, what is your? Give me your big takes on quarantine life. I know that you're working, but when you're
Yeah.
outside of work, let's hear what. How are things different for you in the last 5 or 6 weeks?
Um, Well, as far as the only thing that I've noticed is that how the economy has gone to shit. Nobody's purchasing anything. Nobody's doing anything. A lot of places have closed and locked the doors. Even like my 7-Elevens that I like to go visit, and it's kind of shitty out there. I mean, listen, I'm enjoying the traffic. Like I said that once again. I think that was the Sunday. I enjoyed the traffic, and then you called me out on how I referenced it, but that's okay. That's what you're there for, is to call me out on things.
Listen, I do society a favor.
Of course you do, with as minimal effort as possible needed off your end. But but the thing is that it's weird times. It's seriously weird times. I mean, we can't go to the club. We're stuck, doing Zooms. It creeps me out, the fact that it's kind of like, looking up a porn, and the only thing I'm finding is a picture of you to my left or right, or however anyone else is seeing it.
Right.
Um,
Pretty much all
and
I see is you, so it's good. I mean,
okay,
the public must be happy. On my computer, I see both of us.
yes.
On social media, I just see your head and look,
And,
Johnny
John
Olivera.
chimed in early because he doesn't have a clock.
Should
So I guess John, yeah, we'll keep you muted for a little bit, and then we will get to our guest John Olivero shortly, so he can yes, and
Jesus.
we can definitely go ahead and check on him when the time is right. Basically, the time right now is not right, but we love our guest nevertheless.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
how about you? What's been going on with you?
Well, let's see. Been working pretty much from home last 5 or 6 weeks. Um, haven't been able to see mom or my sister because they have mom's in a nursing home, and my sister has a tough immune system right now, so she's on lockdown at home. And we've been entertaining ourselves by probably eating, I don't know, 7 or 8 meals a day and playing some games, and I've been doing a little bit of work, and
What, hide the family member?
I define yeah, we're down. We're running out of people. So, but yeah, all in all, I got to tell you, it sucks. It's not normal life, but honestly, I'm not at my wits' end yet, so it's not too bad. It could be
You
worse.
know,
Could be worse
in
because nobody got sick over here. So as long as nobody gets sick, I'm okay with that.
and hence, I feel that the name of our show is impertinent to these times, because there is no rhyme and no reason why anybody shouldn't be going ahead and taking time, um, to reach out. I mean, like this is the best time to go ahead and reach out and try to talk to someone, because they're freaking home. They're not going anywhere for the most part. Most of them are not going anywhere. Either that, or they're just avoiding my phone calls.
I would say the latter, but I don't want you to be upset because I know how I am when I see your caller ID. So I can only assume that I'm not alone. I know that your wife would probably say the same thing, and your kids and your boss.
Everybody cringes when they see my name come on the phone.
Pretty much.
You know, it's like I've had friends. I get a kick out of it. I have this one, another friend. Amazing Life. I have another one, and I tried to call them, and I know that they're home by like 4:30, 5 o'clock. And I know this person for like 25 years, and I called, and this was last week. And I was like, hey, give me checking in, see how you doing. Give me a call back, and yeah, I still haven't gotten anything.
Well, there goes your Christmas list.
Pretty much.
That's okay. So let me ask you this. I know everybody is, and we'll get into this in a little bit, but what's your thoughts on? I know I'm hearing rumblings that in about another 2.5 weeks they're going to phase one open New York a little bit or start to. What's your
Okay,
thoughts?
let's correct the phases here. Number one, they're gonna wind up the phase is to work upstate, where nobody really gives a shit except for the people who pretend that they're upper middle class and go, well, I'm going to upstate for the weekend. For that rural area that nobody lives in, the taxes are ridiculous up there as well, and they're opening that because the population is like not even a quarter of what it is. And I listen to the news every day because I have nothing else to do besides go ahead and listen to 1010 Wins and whatever other crap is on the radio when I'm at work all day. and they have no plans, no date on the five boroughs and Long Island. Uh, and it's kind of ridiculous that we have no set date at this point to find out when we can go ahead, get a haircut, go out to eat, go to live entertainment, and do all the normal things. Because you want to know what? I believe that the majority of people that live in lower state are a bunch of idiots.
Right. And
So,
you're going to hold this against upstate people just because?
well, I mean, like, what am I gonna do now? I got to drive what 3 hours to eventually get a haircut and like go out to like a Chili's, and like every other white trash family. Come on,
What's wrong with Chili's?
I mean, that's where I go, Johnny. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just bringing out a random
I feel like
restaurant of choice.
I feel like you're picking on Chili's for no reason whatsoever. As we speak, I'm trying to resize us so we fit on the screen, but so far I can't get anything but your giant fat head in there.
Well, rightfully so. I should be the center of all attention. I can only imagine how many people. I can't wait to look at the comments later and find out what everyone could have, all what 3 people, what they could have possibly said about looking at my gigantic head with the lines that I look like one of that Worf character from Star Trek.
If you're lucky.
Speaking about Star Trek, real briefly, I've been noticing on my Facebook feed, I get to see Patrick Stewart. Every day he's read a sonnet, and he goes, Sonnet number 34. And he goes on and he reads. It's so tranquil, but the same token, I'm going, either A, you're going to say, beam me up, or B, you're asking where Magneto is. That's the only thing I want to hear from you. I don't want to hear about your sonnets. We understand that you're like an actor and off stage and everything, and very flamboyant, but still, nevertheless, either say I'm fighting Magneto. Say that instead. I'd rather watch that for like 5 minutes.
That would make you happy.
Yes, it would.
All right. So what's your thoughts on, other than the fact that we're being discriminated against from upstate people to open first? What's your thoughts when they start opening up the city in Long Island?
Well, like I said, I mean, if we can at any point learn to stay home and not do the social gatherings, I mean, I know in nature we're all meant to go ahead and congregate, talk, gather in groups. That's our nature, and it's the way that we've been for fix my audio. Okay, someone just texted me, fix my audio, whatever my audio might be. I don't know this end or on the other end. I don't know. Let's go ahead and fix that. But
Did you fix it?
wow, that was loud. And if I come in loud, just let me know again, Carla. Thank you very much. At least Carla's watching. I have one other person that I know that's watching us besides you watching me. I don't think we're gonna be opened up until probably I'm gonna say July.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll probably say July.
Well, I hope you're wrong. I'm hoping it's sooner than that. Although, the golf courses are open, so.
Yeah, well, I know. It's a blessing for you in disguise, is those golf courses.
Listen, it's not my fault you're not athletic, okay?
It's not my fault that I go ahead and I don't have the need to wear crappy plaid pants and hit one ball and then go chase it for yards and miles away. I mean, seriously.
Two things. One, you're really loud. And two, have you seen your actual wardrobe before you criticize what golfers wear?
Listen, there's nothing wrong with my fedora.
Well, that's a whole other show, the fedora. We'll get into the show. Actually, the fedora will probably have its own show soon on Gov's Radio.
Oh, God forbid, and God help everyone.
So let me ask you a question. You're big on the social media. You got all these comedy pages going, and you're doing all this stuff. What's your thoughts? I kind of laugh every day about the amount of people that after 5 or 6 weeks have got to go, and do a live broadcast every day of, God knows what. And I'm saying this as we've gone live tonight to do a radio show, so that makes me the biggest douche going. However, that being said, um, I feel doing the live comedy. I don't think doing live comedy in the living room is going to replace what goes on at Governors and the brokerage and McGuire's and all that stuff ever. I mean, people think that comedy's dead, and I think they're nuts.
Well, okay. Well, let me touch on this, and not myself this time. Um, I feel for the select few. I mean, there are people who have been in the business for decades. Okay, and this was their main source of this was their job. This was their livelihood. It was the only thing they know because they've been doing it for so long. Um, and I guess in part for those people only. I'm not going to drop names tonight. I don't got time for that. But they know who they are, and it's their way out. It's their way of reaching out to the public. I feel like it's letting them know that they're still alive. They're still around. They still want to give as much as they can. And I think it's really amazing that they're doing it with no laughter, no reaction. So I mean, for them to pursue and keep going on, I applaud them on that. Um, but as far as for the other delinquents that do their lives, that bring zero funny to the table, or just have complete content of bullshit. Those are the ones that I sit there and I cringe and I want to like take two number two pencils, and I'm not discriminating because it should have been a number one, and jam them in my eyes so I don't have to see the horror. And then I want to go ahead and like jam stuff in my ears so I don't have to hear the pain that's coming from them.
Okay. Bose, people are commenting that they're having a hard time hearing um, your audio.
My audio.
Yeah, which I don't get because I can hear you very loudly. Um, don't know.
You know what? I wish I can. I wish there was something else. I mean, like, I believe if I'm gonna have to try to go ahead and let's try this way. Now, how about that?
That sounds terrible.
That's terrible now. Okay, if it's terrible for you, but you can hear me,
Sounds like you're in a tin can.
well, I am in a tin can. If it's horrible for you, I don't care. I love you, but I don't care.
Fair enough.
But if for everyone else, real quick, uh, throw up the thumbs up. Hit the like button, and let me know if you hear me clearly now without the thing stuck in.
Mike Zimmelman says no rhyme, no reason, and apparently no mics.
Well, this is why I go ahead and I have like the best equipment out there. You go ahead and you find a laptop off of the back of the truck. You know what? Let's bring up another thing. I mean, were you amongst the other? Did you take the moment to step outside of your office or wherever you are? Did you take the moment to snap a couple of photos of the goddamn planes flying
No.
today all over New York, Long Island?
I did not. I was working all day inside. Sorry.
Um, but why? I mean, I love how I was driving earlier today.
Why didn't I take pictures, or why were they flying?
No, why were people? No, smartass. I'm driving today. I'm going over wherever it is, a bridge, and I'm seeing people lined up on all the bridges in the five boroughs, and they're all sitting there in awe and waiting for airplanes to fly by. What is so goddamn mad? I would love to say you don't see them standing around waiting for a Delta cargo flight to go by.
Well, I mean, weren't they doing it for the people on the front lines in the hospital and the EMTs and the first responders and all those people?
Is that the purpose of their flyby today?
That's what they said.
Oh well, good for them. I like I said, we're in a time that we're supposed to be practicing social distancing, staying at home. We're all gathered out, lined up. They were lined up next to each other, and I'm watching the kids go around with no mask and hanging out, especially the kids. I mean, these little kids and some of the old people, no mask, no nothing, and they're all lined up on a bridge. Look at the goddamn planes. It's supposed to be for somebody else. It's not for you guys. Stay the fuck home.
You sound bitter. Did you get a good view where you were today? Did you see the planes?
No, I wasn't looking for them. I could get. I
For
don't
some,
feel
for
like
some, I'm just saying, for someone who didn't look for them, you seem to have a lot of knowledge about what went on today.
because once again, it's all these idiots that had nothing else better to do than like I'm looking. I'm going through my Facebook feed, and everybody's taking a goddamn picture of goddamn planes, and they're like, one person was like, I was like, I missed it, and it was like, I'm sorry, that you missed an opportunity to take a picture of an airplane in the sky. These wonders will never happen again. It's
So,
over. It's
okay,
finished.
so I have two questions for you.
Yes.
One is you're working every day because you're deemed an essential employee.
Wait, say that again.
Are you deemed an essential worker?
Yes.
And just to back up a minute, you said you were just scrolling through your Facebook feed all day, watching people post about the plane. So, my question is are you really essential?
Hey, listen. When I'm doing my scrolling in between
I mean,
sessions,
in between poop sessions. All right, I'm just saying.
very
I
important.
I feel like there's not a lot of essential in your essential.
I guess I listen. All I know is what I do is essential to make a paycheck.
All right,
That's what's essential about it.
fair enough. So listen. You bring up social media, and before we have our buddy John on in a couple of minutes,
Yes.
um, one thing I've noticed on social media is that people who are not in New York and New Jersey are losing their minds over this coronavirus and what we'll call quarantine, if you will, because I don't think they're getting a real taste of what's going on in New York. And they're starting to think it's kind of like bullshit that they have to stay in and that people should be out building up their immune system and becoming, superhumans and that the government is all a hoax and blah, blah, blah. Are you noticing people from outside of New York who think that this is all a ruse? Have you seen this?
I've seen this. The only thing I have that's factual is people from New Jersey, like South Jersey, where the farms are. They are terrified of coming anywhere to North Jersey or New York. They're completely terrified. They don't even want to come near it.
Really?
But then again, New Jersey's finally getting a taste of what we've been dealing through for over a month. Their numbers are starting to slowly go up, but now all of a sudden, like find their curve. They're flattening their curve, so to speak.
What about the rest of the country, though? Like I saw a guy on social media today from Georgia losing his mind over the fact that he has to stay in, and I basically said to him, "Go outside, don't wear a mask, take your gloves off, have at it."
Did you hear yourself? Georgia.
True. Well,
You just answered your own question.
it's one of the 50 states. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I've been through Georgia. It's literally.
You're every guy who's been raped in the backwoods of Georgia, Georgia. Just look at you. Look at yourself.
Georgia is literally a pubic hair away from Alabama, which is like another state where like Forrest Gump grew up. I swear, I crossed over the state line from Georgia to Alabama, and I went into a Home Depot. Don't judge. And
Not a Walmart, a Home Depot.
and I swear to God, there was a guy in the background, and he sounded to the T like Forrest Gump, and I was like, wow, they do breed them here.
So you're basing your entire stereotype of Georgia on the fact that you went into a Home Depot in Alabama.
Yes, basically, it's like, you know what? If you think it's fake, if you think it's bullshit, go have a ball. In fact, you want to know what? While you're at it, find one of those $5 nice Catholic schoolgirls that work the streets and sleep with them for $5. Okay, go for that route then. If you want to think that this is a joke, go for it. Have fun, have at it. I give you my complete blessing. But then again, they might go ahead and consider me like some other person who told a whole bunch of other people that listen to him to inject themselves with cleaner. But we're not going to get into that. Through that.
Wow. Well, last question I have for you, Bose, before we bring on our buddy John. The social media, what I'm noticing is more than ever, more than even usual, which is crazy, is that the political ping pong that goes back and forth between the pro and the anti-Trump crowd. I think it's been kicked up a notch during the, coronavirus. what's your thoughts on that? I know you see a lot of what's going on, and there's a lot of people we're probably mutual friends with that go back and forth. That I feel like their powder is kind of blown off their donut during this last 5 or 6 weeks.
All right, listen. When I see I'm going to plug this thing. People, okay, posting political crap nonstop, okay. I basically these are the same. I don't know. I have no inkling or an idea of why I'm still friends with them at all. I just enjoy watching the stupidity and the complete clarity of what I have to do when things get back to normal. These are the people I'm not buying a goddamn drink for. These are the people I'm going to stay 6 feet away from because I deem them to be completely mental.
Fair enough. Hey, listen.
Yes.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but it's time for us to bring on our buddy John. And
It is our time? Okay.
I don't know if John knows this or not because we didn't really tell him, but we're going to give him a little quarantine quiz because John is quarantined and John has young kids. And let's see if we can get him in here. Where are you, Johnny? Let's unmute him.
What is he?
Hey,
there
bud.
He is.
Hey, handsome.
What's up?
Can you see us? Look at the grizzle on you, man. Sheesh.
Yeah, it's coming in there.
Wow.
The grace.
They weren't there 6 weeks ago.
No, man, it's because I had a barber 6 weeks ago.
Nice. What's cooking? How's everybody at home?
Yeah, everybody's good. We're all healthy. Just doing our best not to kill each other.
Nice. Well, Jeff and I are very happy that you could join us for our first show, which we are basically considering a trial of a dumpster fire, because I mean we
Going
can't.
great so far.
It's not even a good dumpster fire. It's like we tried to start a fire in a dumpster and we missed it, and the wheels fell off this wagon as soon as I was in charge of technology. So. We would have been better off sitting in the backyard sending smoke signals out. That would have we would have had a shot doing that. But alas, here we are. But Johnny, we'd like to start, and I do respect the guy. Are you drinking Corona? You the man.
Of course, I'm drinking Corona. That's how you kill virus.
All right, there you go. Jeff,
For a hot second, I didn't know that was John. I thought that was Mark David Hirschman for a second.
really?
Right.
Well, 'cause you got the whole beard going. I never see you with the full.
Yeah, it's getting bushy.
It's getting
It's definitely getting bushy.
well.
Coming at his thing like a lumberjack.
Well, I'll tell you what. We were happy to get somebody on who was one who was also quarantined and two has a family on a little bit. You know how old are the kids now?
So my oldest is 12. Then my middle is 3, and then my little guy just turned 1.
All right, so this is perfect.
Nice.
So the little guy's 1 already, huh?
Yeah,
Phew.
yeah, he's walking.
Woo, nice. All right, so this is perfect. We've put together a little short quiz for you for quarantine because I'm older than dirt, so I don't have any young kids, and Bosie's not allowed around kids because of the whole court
We know.
thing. But that's whatever. One ball pit accident and Jeff's banned from everywhere now. So, but whatever. So, Jeff, would you like to start out? Do you have a copy of the quiz that we're giving Mr. Jo there?
Yeah, sure. No, not really. Oh, hello.
Hey,
Hello.
hi guys.
That's the little guy.
Wow.
Beautiful family, you guys.
Well, that brings us to
They can't hear us. It's fine.
question 1, John. Honest answers now.
Okay.
You ready? In the last 5 or 6 weeks, how long you been home now? 5, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. In the last 5 or 6 weeks, how many times do you think Amy wanted to kill you?
Oh, she loves me. She's
That's-
so happy that I'm home. She's ecstatic.
Yeah. John, blink if you're okay. Blink if you're okay, buddy. Blink if you're okay. How many times we talking? 50, 100? What do we got?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Beautiful. All right. You watch a lot of TV at home now with the kids?
We've been trying to like do stuff more like project wise rather than just sitting in front of the box.
Okay. Well,
It's been raining, so when it rains, yeah.
what's your favorite quarantine kids show that you've been watching?
Oh my god. I mean, they're more what? Yeah, probably like the Boss Baby cartoons.
What are they?
The Boss
Oh
Baby
my
cartoons.
God, those.
the, the Boss
And
Baby.
listen, I'm allowed to know what those are because I have a young kid myself. So
Because you hang out in ball pits.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Uh, hey John, how many rolls of Charmin Ultra Soft do you currently have in your house?
Oh, well, let's go take a look.
Oh,
let's do it.
we go into the vault. This is gonna be good.
I don't know how many
I bet you there's a pallet. There's got to be a pallet.
I never had an issue, but it's everybody else's problem. So then they scared me
Oh no.
into feeling the concern that, I was going to run out.
Go on.
So, yeah, I got like one, two, three cases. I got some off-brand shit because that's all they had at one point. Some real emergency shit from another.
Now I understand
I got
that that's just for
Tylenol,
you.
yeah, just in case he really goes bad.
Those
Jesus.
are the ones for the family members. I see that. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Have
Those
some.
are the kids. The kids could use those.
Wow. What is it? What kind of diet are you guys on over there? Wow. All right. You ready for your next question?
I'm ready.
All right. What's been interrupted more during quarantine? Your sex life or your masturbation life?
The sex life is non-existent.
So you still
Welcome to marriage.
Zero. There is zero babysitter. They're all on top of us at all times.
so that's a deal breaker?
It's rough.
Wow.
Rough. It's very hard.
Okay.
So if it happens, we're both like half asleep.
Wait, what's very hard? The sex or the masturbation?
How many? He says they're half asleep. Bozy would kill if a woman was just half asleep.
Or half alive?
Exactly. All right, Johnny. Last question I got for you on the quarantine quiz. You can round down if you want, but accuracy is important here.
Okay.
How many meals a day are you eating during quarantine?
Well, define meal.
Counting snacks and meals.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, all day long. This is constant food going into my face.
So what are we talking? A dozen?
I mean, for a meal, I sit down, the normal, the 3 times a week. But
Three times a week.
a hamburger.
Yeah.
Well,
A hamburger is a snack, right? That's just a snack.
well, I didn't want to bring it up, but you've been looking good.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. We don't all get to be out there all essential like
Yeah.
hiding in dark rooms on our Facebook feeds.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Paychecks for it.
Listen, if you haven't seen Bozy lately, if he gets on one of his own scales, it's over. don't believe him. So hey John, what is there a fast food or a restaurant that you go to when it's not quarantine time that you miss going to the most right now?
Yeah, I'm more of like a restaurant guy. So, like we like to go to Snaps in Wantor.
Oh, we love that place.
Yeah, we used to go there like probably like at least 2-3 times a month.
Nice, rich people.
But it's not that bad over there. Actually.
Do you miss a Chili's?
No, I don't do Chili's. There's too many ailments in my family that we're basically a waiter's worst nightmare.
With the amount of toilet paper you got in that garage, I figured Chili's would be right in your wheelhouse.
That's why we avoid it.
Nice.
But now let's bring up a little bit about you real quick as we have a couple of minutes left with you. So now you've been doing stand up for about 3 years now,
Yeah, about 3 years.
and out of those 3 years, do you like it? Do you miss it?
Of course, I miss it. It's like there's no better feeling than when you know how it is when you're up there and everybody's loving you. It's a great feeling.
I wouldn't.
No, no.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't.
Hey,
Yeah.
John, let me introduce you. John, let me introduce you to Jeff.
My concern is like, when is he coming back? I feel like at this point, I forgot all my shit already. It's going all over.
Your set's going to be new to you, not the people in the crowd. It's going to be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do. Hey, John, what's your thoughts? I mean, I know there's a lot of people on. We were just talking about this before you jumped on with us. A lot of people on social media who feel like, oh my God, the sky's falling. We're never going to do live stuff again, and everyone's going to be living in a bubble and blah blah blah. But I mean, I don't feel that. I think that, it's going to be slow getting back in, but once we do, I think we'll get back to normal. I think science will catch up and get us ahead of this. What's your thoughts on where, like, let's keep it in the comedy world because that's what we do on the side, right? Where do you think it goes?
Straight comedy, like
Live stuff, do you think it's like some people are saying it'll never be the same again? I don't agree with that, but
no, we got to come back to some type of normalcy. I mean, I'm not willing to believe that at this point. I feel like it's got to come back, but I'm thinking like, I mean, as far as like comedy clubs opening up their doors, like sitting on top of each other like that, the earliest I would say is probably like September.
okay.
See, told you.
But no, but I think everything else is going to start to slowly open before that. Like like certain restaurants where you gotta they'll have to have less tables and stuff like that, so people aren't on top of each other. But
Right.
Like
I think
Chili's.
Like Chili's.
Come back to normal. Yeah, I think things will start to come back to normal just in time for there to be this to happen all over again for the next freaking season.
That's great. Yeah. But listen, if you're gonna buy tickets in advance, just do them a month in. Don't go too far in advance in case we get phase 2 of the virus.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you? What's your message, John? Like you probably, I mean, I know you. You got a, you got a lot of friends in social media, and you've been around the comedy, world here, and you got a lot of friends, and you see all the back and forth and people how they're. I mean, some people, like I was telling Jeff, they've lost their mind, and I understand that. They're not used to disruption in any way, shape, or form. But listen, that's what life does. It throws it at you. What's your message to people out there, like that are just like nuts about this right now?
Basically, my thoughts are that nobody knows enough to know anything, and everybody who thinks they know doesn't know, and everybody who knows everything today, something comes out tomorrow, and now they don't know shit anymore. So just be nice to everybody. Be respectful of whatever situation they're in, because you don't know what's making them feel that way. Obviously, nurses on the front line are going to be way more haywire about things than somebody like me sitting at home with a Corona in my hand. They're seeing the worst of it. I'm seeing none of it. Everybody's in their own boat, right? So until like science unravels itself, really just shut the fuck up. Stop.
What are they telling you about your job as far as you getting back to like some semblance of?
Well, I actually, lucky for me, because I was working a job that was essential. I would be delivering Band-Aids in the city right now, but
Right.
I left there 2 weeks before this all happened to pursue a partnership with another business. So currently I'm okay. I get to work from home. I'm
Okay.
on the computer, so I'm getting a salary. I'm surviving.
Is there any chance that partnership was with Jeff Bezos?
No,
Ah,
no, it was not.
damn it. That would have been a good call.
No, but I've actually got involved in like the healthcare staffing industry.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
It was a good time for that.
Where are you going to be working out of when it gets back to normal? Are you going to be? Is it a from home thing?
Yeah, it's a from home thing, and I mean we have because my partner, basically their entire bottom floor is the office of their house, and they live upstairs,
Okay.
and which is like 5 minutes from my house.
Nice.
So I have a desk there, I have a desk here.
So on the side, you'll be selling Amway.
Sure.
Right.
But no, it's gonna, I'll be all right. But
Good.
I feel for the people who aren't, and I understand where they're coming from, where they want to come outside, and then the other side's, stay inside. I get it. Everybody just needs to shut up because nobody really knows what's going on.
Wait, you're saying that the people who got their infectious disease degrees on Facebook aren't? It's not happening. It's not true.
Yeah, I mean,
Go figure.
Please, yeah, please don't inject yourselves with cleaner.
Well,
You know.
let's not. Wait a minute. Let's not rush to judgment on that. I
Or
mean,
do,
or
or
do,
do.
yeah, right. I feel if somebody wants to take that brave first step, then have at it.
Yeah, I mean, the Earth is trying to cleanse itself right now anyway, so let's give it a fighting chance, right?
Right, exactly. So, Bose,
I-
what do you got left for?
Yes.
What do you got left to wrap up our little visit with Johnny?
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you for coming on. That's first off. Thank you for coming to our premiere show. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And the one thing I definitely want to say is please be safe and take care of your family there. You got a lovely family. I got to meet your wife once a while back, and she's a very nice lady. I can't afford her, but I definitely want to say it was a great honor to have you on, and just be safe out there. Keep being you, and I can't wait to get back out there and
Get sloppy at coasters.
get sloppy. Oh my God, that place. I mean, with that, if you're gonna bring up that, you might as well say that the Today's Show is brought to you by Insanity.
There you go. Well, Johnny, thanks for hopping on with us. Next time we have you on, it'll be a little bit more structured.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's no rhyme, no reason. You can't have structure here. That's not right.
Yeah. Well, that's one. That's one reason.
Thank you. So, but thank you for coming on with us tonight. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Johnny.
Both appreciate it.
Nah, thanks for having me, guys. It's fun.
We'll see you soon.
All right, guys, be good.
Take care.
So that was nice. I'm really glad we got to have a moment to.
We love Johnny. Johnny's a good guy, and he's got a good little family. I can't believe the baby's 1 already. That's crazy. I remember when the baby was 0, like 1 day old. That's crazy.
That's what happens when you go ahead and you leave it in too long.
Mr. Bosey,
Yes.
prior to us getting on the air, I put up a couple of questions,
Oh shit.
and I asked people to vote on what they would like us to randomly talk about, and the choices were Kim Jong Un,
Right.
Nutella is overrated,
Oh god.
Jeff Bosey has a hall pass,
Oh my god. What did they pick?
and I don't remember what the fourth one was. And to quote Andy Plajanos, who had the best thing, which he said, he goes, "I didn't even know there were other choices. He just picked Bosey's whole pass." So we're going straight to it. So
Oh Jesus Christ. That's the one that they all lean towards.
this is the one that people took. So you, my friend, you will be on the spot a little bit here for the Jeff Bosey Hall Pass. So my first question to you is, would your wife care if you actually had a Hall Pass?
It's hard to say because at times where she just wishes I was like 6 feet in distance as far as in the ground.
Yeah, horizontal, vertically,
yes,
yeah,
horizontally,
vertically down there. I got you.
That and/or she couldn't care less where I was at certain times, just so long as the paycheck comes in. So I really, it's hard to like debate on that one.
So it sounds like you're hedging. So I'm going to need you to give me an answer.
I'll say yeah, I could get the hall pass. I think.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to the second one, which is if you had this Hall Pass,
Yes.
what 3 people would be on it?
Well.
And before you answer,
Okay.
you answer,
Three. I'm gonna get 3.
you get 3, and
Okay.
one of them can't be John Butera because we already know that you guys have this
Damn it.
this
And
love this love fest.
I was gonna sit there and say one of them would have been John Butera too.
Clearly.
So now these could be any 3 people at random.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they don't have to be random. Do you actually have this list in your pocket?
No.
Then it's random. Okay, then
I
it'll
didn't
be.
write down answers on a piece of paper that nobody can see because of the damn thing. But anyways, thank God for technology on my end too. I have to say my one fascination. I have a fascination with one that I would have liked.
It's a dwarf. Is it a dwarf?
Well, no, it's not a dwarf.
Okay.
It would have been Tracy Lords. I have been obsessed with her since the 80s.
Tracy is Tracy Lords now in her 80s?
Possibly. That's the other thing.
I mean, how old is this list?
Listen,
I mean, you might want to update this
But
like
listen,
more often than you update your wardrobe. Is all I'm
listen,
saying.
right about now, if she said let's go, I'll be sitting there and going like it's go time. It's
Oh,
definitely go time.
all right. So 80-year-old Tracy Lords, who would be second?
Yes.
Is Betty White on this list?
No, even though I heard she gives great head. You know what? Let's reach. You know what? You hang around yourself with a nice little dime piece. So I would go ahead and if she was available for like 2 minutes and 35 seconds, I would have to go for your girlfriend there.
You can't put my girlfriend on your hall pass list.
Why not? Who else hasn't put her on their list?
All right, who's your third?
A third would definitely have to be, and I think everyone has to have this on their list. An X, because you definitely had that one X that was amazing in bed. You guys, I mean, like, you don't, I can't.
I guarantee you are not on any of your ex's list for that.
Oh, I'm definitely
guarantee.
on. Listen, I am definitely on. Their
Not happening, bud.
list.
Yes.
Yeah.
So does this ex have a name?
Oh, no. No.
So you went out with somebody who had no name, but was
name.
amazing sexually.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
All right. Well, you arguably have the worst hall pass list. You have my girlfriend Tracy Lords and an unknown ex.
Yes.
Hmm.
These are listen. And what do you want? It's a figurative. If it's figurative hall pass, I'm going to figuratively answer the question because you want to know what? Either way, no matter what, from like yesteryear and today, I'm still not getting laid.
All right. So you pick three.
Yes.
Who just missed the cut?
Oh, son of a bitch! I wasn't looking for the bonus round. Oh, Jesus Christ! You know what? You already excited me enough with three. I wouldn't even know who can make the bonus round. Shit. Jessica Alba.
Well, you seem to crank that one out pretty fast. Oh, I don't know, Jessica Alba.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. To be fair, I do crank one out pretty fast. with Jessica
yeah,
Alba.
of course. All right. So here's the last question I have for you.
Yes.
Does your wife have a hall pass list?
Most likely, yes, and I believe.
And besides John Butera, who's on that
besides
list?
John Butera, and I believe George Clooney is on that list.
All right.
And then I don't know. There was maybe a singer, and I think who is that actor? Yeah, I'm great with names. Oh no, maybe you. I think you could be on that list as well.
Well, thank you. So just to be clear, my girlfriend's on your list, and I'm now on your wife's list.
Yes. So either way, we're playing.
These are literally the worst lists ever created.
Well, thank God you put it together for me to be available to answer these questions. And when no matter what, I still walk away with my hand.
I feel like if we would have talked about Nutella being overrated, we would have got more honest answers out of you.
Well, I mean, Nutella and sex go hand in hand.
If you say so.
But I'm bummed.
So Bose, we got a few minutes left before we wrap
Yes.
up the first dumpster fire. What's on your mind?
Okay. Well, first off, number one, I wanted to touch on when I go shopping. I still don't understand the reason why the shelves aren't stocked. They're stocked with food. Great. Food is all over the place. We still don't have wipes. We still don't have toilet paper. We still don't have paper towels. I mean, where are these companies? Where's the manufacturing companies that these shelves should have been stocked automatically? That's one thing that's been bothering me. Driving around and looking at ridiculous long lines to get a fresh enema from Starbucks. I don't understand the reason behind it.
You don't like Starbucks. You're a 7-Eleven guy.
I can't afford it. I can't afford Starbucks. Why should I pay that extra $2 for the Afghan bean? I mean, really? I mean, come on. I don't got time for that. But other than that, bringing it back, the one thing that's on my mind is I'm I'm happy that we finally, number one, got to start this off. Number two, I'm glad that I'm actually able to have something, and along with one of my, good friends. You know,
Who's that? Have we met your good friend yet?
he has two initials, RR, and you
Wow.
know.
I probably sat next to him in school.
Oh, you know what? And how coincidental that we get to go ahead and do our premiere show on someone who needed a gigantic spotlight today on his birthday. I
Oh,
won't names.
oh, let's get into that because I have a little shout out list for us before we go. And
Go for it.
no,
Shoot.
so number one on my shout out list. Well, no, I'm going to make it number two. Number one on my shout out list, even though and apologies for any technical issues and things we're having. Mike O'Toole and Sally O'Neill helped me try to set this up, and obviously I soiled the sheets a little bit in certain areas here, trying to get us audio visually pleasing. But so big thanks to them for setting us up. But now, number two, allegedly and the only way I could lead into this is I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he's the last comedian to perform live on Long Island.
be?
On Long
Who could that
Island.
be?
Am I right? Is he the last comedian to perform live on Long Island pre-pandemic?
I'm going to agree wholeheartedly with that, and also along with that, now he doesn't even have a leg to stand on. Oh wait, hold on.
It's his birthday. Now, two things about that. One, happy birthday, Tony Walker. It's your birthday.
Happy birthday.
Now, this whole time, and I have to apologize because I said to you probably a couple of times, Jeff, Tony looks good for 70. But evidently he turned 50.
Oh.
So
that all?
so either A, he's lying, B, they're celebrating it late and he was born on leap day. I'll give him 50 for that. I mean, he's probably I would round him up there. Or maybe it's the 20th anniversary of his 50th birthday. I don't know, but I mean, and I don't know the story behind his leg, but I just think it fell off from being old. It just fell off.
It just
So
withered away.
right. So he says he's 50, so we'll honor that he's 50. But I guess should
Well,
we?
listen, at
You know,
least we know his cock is in place, because otherwise I don't think Sally would stick around.
well, I'm gonna take your word for that, and leave it at that.
I bumped into him in the hallways. Go ahead.
Next person I would like to give a little shout out to is a buddy of ours, celebrating a comedy anniversary. I know
Yes.
John Olivero just talked about him being comedy 3 years.
Yes.
Mike Zimmerman, right?
Okay.
The Zimmel.
Yes.
Great young guy, funny.
Very nice guy.
3 years in the business, and we see anybody on Long Island does comedy shows knows Mike. He's always around. Young guy, always very friendly, very talented young guy. Smart too.
Yes.
Going for what, a master's in something or something.
No, he's very. I had the pleasure of meeting him about 2 years ago. Very funny, very nice, and I like I said when he.
Is he old enough to drink now?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, either that or I've been like going ahead and buying him drinks, and he's not telling me.
Well, not the first underage person you tried to intoxicate.
Once again, I'm caught in the open with that.
That's it. Next shout out. Listen, Carla Okerson, Mike Keegan, Tim Saliani,
Yes.
all three of them. One, they do a tremendous podcast, and they've been doing it live out of the studio. Two, all three of them were impacted with this coronavirus.
Yes.
Carla technically could be, nobody's sure, she could be patient zero. She basically, no one's seen her actually eating a bat, but she did get, evidently, she got Mike sick, Tim sick, Mike's family, friends, this, that, and the other thing. So basically,
it's that
most
Latin blood that goes ahead and spreads like the
most of Long Island. So I want to give a shout out to them because Tim was in the hospital for a little bit. Mike had really bad pneumonia. Carla's been battling for weeks. So love them guys. They're great. If you haven't listened to their podcast, you're missing out on the Domestic Disturbance podcast. Really funny. And also, if you haven't listened to to Tim Saliani's most recent Be Best video thrown up on the Pazuzu site, you're missing out. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. And he literally dragged his feverish carcass in front of a camera to post this thing, and it was hilarious. So shout out to all those guys, and you know, we appreciate their friendship, and I'm glad they're healthy.
Absolutely. Like I said, I love them. You know, and they're great people. Very funny on and off stage. They're completely awesome. I'm glad that you know, Carla and Keegan are getting better, and I, you know, would love to personally wish the best possible healthy recovery to Tim, because he's awesome. He's completely awesome, and I love having him around. I love hearing everything he's got to say and all the demonic shit that comes out of his mouth. That just gives me those, you know, good vibes in my body.
Good vibes. Excellent. So, Boss, how do you want to close this out, buddy? I know, you know.
I went ahead and listen. I'm going to do something. I think we're going to do something that I don't think any of the shows do. We're gonna stand out a little bit, and this is not to. This is just, you know, the premiere show. We wanted to do something a little different. I know. You want what? You lead them into this.
Well,
About
oh.
yes.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. So Jeff Bosey, being the giver that he is, and because he's still getting a paycheck, because evidently someone deems him essential. I'm not sure how. But we're going to give out a. Is it what's the value on that?
20. It's 20.
20.
It's 20.
A $20.
Listen, I don't make millions like you.
We're going to give out a $20 gift card, which probably costs $6 to activate. However, we're gonna get a $20 gift card to the person, and I'm not looking on it because I'm not on it right now. But Jeff, I'm gonna give you a number between 1 and 50. All right.
1 and 50?
So 1 to 50. So whoever posted the 37th comment.
Oh, well, then there you go. You picked it. So the
All right.
37th
37th comment. Give that card to.
37th comment? Absolutely.
Okay, and we will throw that up on our email when we post the show afterwards, or delete it, one or the other. But either way, we'll post the winner of the thing. Before Govs Radio deletes us, we will post the winner of that card.
Yes, and I will go ahead and I'll personally reach out to that said person, and I will get their information and send it off to them.
Right, and evidently, if you've been listening to Jeff for the last hour, you can use it at Chili's.
Yes.
For $20.
Yes.
I don't know what you can get at Chili's for $20, but evidently there's a hell of a menu, and Jeff goes a lot. So
Apparently. But listen, thank you very much, everybody, for watching and leaving the comments. And I can't wait to see what you guys have had a chance to write. I can only imagine. Thank you, my good buddy Rich, also for putting this all together for us. And I'm going to say, please endure another, if we're still around, another No Rhyme, No Reason next week.
We'll make it better technology-wise. Apologies for any glitches we have tonight. I mean, we're working without a net here. I have an iPad as a webcam going into a PC. You know, and
I've been using an Etch-a-Sketch.
Jeff's got an Etch-a-Sketch or a Speak and Spell and something else. I don't know what's going on over there, but we will get it right. And we appreciate everybody who listened in, and will listen in hopefully this week. Everybody be safe, be healthy, and number 37, Mr. Bosey will reach out to you for a little gift card. You could buy yourself some gloves and a mask.
There you go.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to No Rhyme and No Reason, and we'll be here Tuesdays at 6:30. Have a great week.
This meeting is being recorded.